Did we finish in that Seif?
Yes.
No, we did not.
Yeah, we did.
Football season is over.
We didn't finish Shintet. Yeah. No, Seif we did not.
Okay, so let's go on.
Rabbi?
Okay, I said we didn't finish off Shintes, Seif, so we'll do it quickly. It's not a hard Seif. So we said before, in the Seif before, in the Seif Dalet, the difference between if you put a star on top of a kavius, a niach, then it becomes a basis, or shakach, you forgot it there, then it's not a basis, then it's muksa while it's there, but you can shake it off. So the Mechaber says, Hadle shari el hatais v'lanayr, this they allowed to turn on its side and to shake off the rock, that's dafka b'tzarech l'gufa chavis. You need the... Did it? Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, dafka b'tzarech l'gufa chavis, you need the chavis itself, hakar or the pillow. Avol b'tzarech l'mokam chavis, if you need a place where the chavis is there, so if you shake it off, then the rock is going to fall on the floor. With a hakar, the place where the pillow is lying. It's not going to help to just turn it over a little bit and to shake it off, or near to shake it off. Then you're allowed to move it together with the stone. And with the money, to clean up the place, to make the place empty, that you can use the place where the chavius is. So the klal is that any time it's not a basis, you're always allowed to move the chavius, whether you need the chavis itself or you need a place where the chavis is, you're allowed to move it even though you're moving the muktzah with it, as long as it does not become a basis. That's the Shin test. Okay, Simon Shin Yud.
Rabbi, from the lashon of here, you could imply that like lichatchila, you should be menair and move off.
Correct.
Lichatchila, you should.
Correct. If you don't need the place where it is,
right.
Lichatchila should be menair. You should not move the whole thing away.
What if you just need the place? You need the place.
Right.
So lichatchila, should you still be menair the thing off?
No.
And then move the thing and get the place?
No, how's that going to help? Because if you're menair, the rock is going to fall right in the place where the chavis is.
What if it is? What if you can be menair it and
yeah, if you're not to fall and you don't need that place next to it either.
Yeah.
And it's better that way. The least tilt of muktzah.
It's kind of
it won't be enough.
Yeah, it's not enough to be menar. So you should be menar if it is enough.
If it's correct, anytime it's enough to be menar, you're better off being menar. You should not move the muktzah more than you have to.
You don't need the chavis, you need the makam,
right?
And you could be menar so it falls away from there, and then get the makam. You should do that with
Correct. Correct. Okay, Simon Shinyo, din muktzah b'Shabbos, dine muktzah b'Shabbos. You think till now we're not learning about muktzah?
No, what are we talking till now?
So now it says dine muktzah b'Shabbos.
Preface.
Till to the davar acher.
Yeah, the Shinches is called Dvar HaMutar, how Simon Talto b'Shabbos, and now we have dine muktzah b'Shabbos. Okay.
What do you know?
The question is who wrote the headings?
It's not the Mechaber.
Not so partial. Not sure who wrote it. Not sure who wrote it.
I thought it was the Bochum Zetzer.
Torah Chiyun.
I was being a raya that in today's generation we think we're smarter than the last generation, and the last Suda in Shabbos is called Shalosh Sudas. So today people call Suda Shlishit. Why? Because what's Shalosh Sudas? It's not Shalosh Sudas. It's Suda Shlishit. It's a third Suda.
Yeah.
So why is it called Shalosh Sudas?
You eat the third.
So if you look in the Mechaber and the Siman about Shalosh Sudas, the Siman is called Shalosh Sudas. It's not called Suda Shlishit. So there's a makar to everything. There's a reason why we call it Shalosh Sudas. The reason why we call it Shalosh Sudas is because
they explained the 3 meals.
So
yeah,
you eat the third.
it's a raya. It's a raya that you're eating it for a mitzvah.
Right.
So the first night you're hungry, by day you're hungry. But Shalosh Sudas already you're not hungry anymore. So if you're eating it, it's a raya that the other Sudas you also ate because of the mitzvah, not just because you were hungry. So that's why it's called Shalosh Sudas. Even though it's not all 3, it's only 1.
Yeah, it's
but today people start calling it Suda Shlishit because Shalosh Sudas doesn't make sense. It's not all three. But there's a makar to it. The mechaber, if you look in the mechaber, which simon is it? Mechaber, wait a second.
They don't eat it.
So how do you get show the sheet?
Reish Sadi Aleph. Reish Sadi Aleph. Reish Sadi Aleph is this. It's called Din Shalish Sudos. So it's called. It's not called Din Sudos Shlishit. It's called Din Shalish Sudos, and it's talking about Shalish Sudos. So you see, when people call it Shalish Sudos, there's a reason for it.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, well, now you know why.
But it's called Din Shlo Suda because it's explaining all the three.
No, it's not.
Only the last
Only
one.
the last one. It's explaining. Only the last Suda is explaining.
But he says, yes, I know the Kayam Suda Shlishit. In the first line, he says Suda Shlishit.
You're right, but it's called Shalish Sudas.
No, so that's the sheet. It says.
No, it says
Yeah, but it's called Din Shalish
No,
Sudas.
I think they meant that it is on the three meals.
Yeah, the Suda Shlis.
It says Suda Shlishit.
But it's called Din Shalish Sudas. It's called. Mechaber called it Shalish Sudas.
He meant all the three together.
All right. So Din Muktzah b'Shabbos. Now also we're talking about Din Muktzah b'Shabbos. So why over here is the Mechaber? Is it called Din Muktzah b'Shabbos? So we'll see. As we learn, maybe we'll get smarter in the simon. So it says the Mechaber, 8 shataylim by dogim, piece of wood that you used to hang the fish from it. Afa pishu mos, even though it's disgusting from it. Mutal taltel labi mataltel the kaimelam b'muktzah machmas mias kereb shimin the shari. We pass him a muktzah machmas mias like a shimin who's matir. So there's two things we have to know here. First of all, there's a machlokes all over Shas. Din Reb Shimon and Reb Yehuda. Whether it's a din muktzah in Shabbos or not. And the klal is Reb Shimon is matir muktzah. So the question is, over here we say we pass him muktzah. Oh, so we'll see. So it says over here we pass him like Reb Shimon who doesn't hold the muktzah. We pass him like Reb Shimon doesn't hold the muktzah. So what happened there? We just had a few simonim about muktzah. We know the klal is we pass him like Reb Shimon, but there's no muktzah on Shabbos. So what happened? We hold a few simonim about muktzah on Shabbos. So we pass him like Reb Shimon. Why does it mean we don't hold the muktzah? So right away there's a taz here. Before we see the taz, okay, let's see the taz. Fine, let's first see the taz. Says the taz. The kaimon b'muktzah machmas miyos kereb Shimon deshari. Because of the Torah. Aber muktzah machmas iser, kegoin ner shed likuba ba'oisei Shabbos, loy kaimelon kereb Shimon, we don't pass on like Reb Shimon, the less than muktzah, ella begregos v'tzimukim. We'll see soon, later on in the simon, that Reb Shimon is masking this muktzah by gregos v'tzimukim. Gregos v'tzimukim is dates and
Dry
grapes.
Yeah. Maybe the pit.
Not the pit. No, and we'll see soon. The reason why he's masking over there is, we'll see soon because there, it's a much more severe muktzah. It's dacha b'yadayim, you pushed it away before Shabbos, and it's any royal achila right now, when Shabbos comes in, it's not royal to eat it.
It's not royal achila.
So we'll see.
It's different.
Yeah, it's not royal achila. So we'll see soon. We'll get into that in a second. Why Shimon is masking over there. The concept they say, the kasha l'chza, the kaimel of Shimon, the less than muktzah el begregos v'tzimukin. We hold like Reb Shimon who doesn't hold a muktzah only by gregos v'tzimukin. The kaimelon, the kaimel dvar masura machmas issa muktzah. We hold a lot of things are also because of muktzah. K'mashikosav Semicha Ches. Like we have in Semicha Ches, we had a whole long Semicha Ches, all dinei muktzah. Muktzah machmas issa, muktzah machmas kiss, muktzah machmas mius. We had also there. So all of a sudden over here we say we pass him like Reb Shimon who doesn't hold the muktzah. We just had a few simonim that we do pass with the muktzah. El hakorchach Reb Shimon moida b'chol muktzah machmas iser beinim hu machmas leichazu l'tashmish heter mitzad atzmai or mitzad dabash olav beinim hu b'fnei she'ein teres kli olav ve'ein eichel. So the Taz sets us straight over here. that when we say that Reb Shimon does not hold the muktzah, there's a very important klal to know. Otherwise, he gets very confused with the whole thing of muktzah. Reb Shimon does not hold the muktzah means not all muktzahs he doesn't hold of. There are certain muktzahs that he doesn't hold of. I will explain it like this. Reb Shimon holds that something that's totally muktzah, that it's not a kli b'chlal, or it's isser, you can't use it at all on Shabbos, then Reb Shimon is masking that it's muktzah. Reb Shimon doesn't hold a muktzah means there are certain things which is a suffix. Maybe let's call it you're 80% you maxim edaita, not 100%. There Reb Shimon doesn't hold the muktzah. And the example is the case of dogim. The eights that you use to hang up fish, it's muktzah machmas miyas, but it's not totally muktzah. People use it, people handle it, but not everybody does. Some people are more from it, and therefore they don't use it.
Maphonic.
Yeah,
Because of
so
the
it's
stink,
not
because of the smell.
right. But it's not fully that a person fully does not use it. It's 80% he doesn't use it. We'll call it 80% as an example. Meaning, we had before in Siman Shin Ches, we had a whole thing about graf sharei. A graf sharei is something that's disgusting, and we had a whole halacha that if you need it, because it's disturbing you, there's a heter to move it on Shabbos. We just said over here that muktzah machmas miyos, we pass on like Reb Shimon, who holds there's no muktzah. So why can't you move every graf sharei, even if it's not bothering you? The whole issue of a graf sharei is that it's mos, you're disgusted by it. So if that's the case, we just pass it over here in Seif Aleph, halacha Reb Shimon, that muktzah machmas miyos is not muktzah. So why do we have to have other heterim for a graf sharei? And the answer is that a graf sharei, I forgot where I saw this, but I'm going to speak it out over here, that a graf sharei is something that's 100% muktzah. Everyone's disgusted by it, there's no use for it whatsoever. There Reb Shimon is masking that it's muktzah. The muktzah machmas miyos that we're talking about over here is only a muktzah that's 80% mos. That means it is usable. It's possible to use it. It's not so disgusting that a person doesn't want to touch it. Graf sharei is disgusted in a way that no one wants to go near it. Therefore, it's 100% muktzah.
So,
Rav Shimon is only dealing with miyus?
So we'll see.
100%?
There's other things also.
What about, a stone?
I
According
was
to
going
Rav
to
Shimon?
say,
So a stone. So that's what he says over here. The Taz just said over here. What does that mean?
it's a rock.
Alright. Something that has no use whatsoever, Reb Shimon is masking to it.
So anything that's muktzah machmas gufo, you would.
Correct. Anything that's muktzah machmas gufoi, Reb Shimon will mask him. If you look in the.
So why do you add the bein echel also?
It would be
If
muktzah.
it's, so why does the Taz add bein echel also?
We'll see in a second. Eichel may be different. We'll see and see if Beis about Eichel. So he said, if you look in the Levushei Surah here, I think he speaks it out. Yeah, if you look at the Levushei Surah, on that Taz we just saw, She'ein Torah's Kli Olav. So the Levushei Surah says, you see it?
Yeah.
She'ein Torah's Kli Hainu Muktzah Machmas Gufoi. That's Muktzah Machmas Gufoi. So the Taz speaks out Mefurish that Reb Shimon, something that's Muktzah Machmas Isser, that means you're not allowed to move it because it's Osir. For example, a candle that's lit on Shabbos, or something that's muktzah machmas gufoi, it has no use. Reb Shimon is masking that it has a din muktzah. So this cloud that we say, Reb Shimon does not hold a muktzah. You have to revise it a little bit. Not that he doesn't hold a muktzah b'chlal. There are certain cases that he holds that it's not muktzah.
But anything, and I'm trying to, this 100%, 80% rule, is
Yeah.
I can see it by miyus.
Right.
Right? So Rav Shimon could just say that by miyus I don't hold of that. That's easy.
Right.
But do you apply the 80% rule by a stone or something?
No,
that,
stone's 100%
Right. So
muktzah.
then what other example would you have
Oh, besides
miyus?
miyus. We don't have too many. We'll see soon.
Yeah, so you left
Yeah.
so what
You left with
simple
just
way to
miyus.
say it is Rav Shimon holds that there's no din of miyus.
Okay, so we'll see.
And Graf
You're right.
Sharei is
Graf Sharei is
a kasha.
100%. Graf Sharei is 100%. So therefore, it's muktzah because Reb Shimon.
So Reb Shimon
So-
goes from
Right.
not,
But
everything to.
we're going for Reb Shimon, who doesn't hold the muktzah and everything, and so far we've narrowed down only to one case of
Miyus.
muktzah machmas miyus.
I know, but
There'll be one other case.
Okay, but one thing said, if Rav Shimon is matur in front of Miros, and Miros is 80%, wouldn't you say Kal V'chomer when it's 100% like a Rav Sharei? He would say that you can move it. You could do. You could
No, yeah, it's more muktzah.
No, but I'm saying
So-
he's saying here, why is she going to move it?
You're allowed to move muktzah machmas miyus.
Because I can move it. So
No, so it's not muktzah because only 80% you maximum daitai.
Ah.
Therefore, it's not muktzah. You have to be 100% maximum daitai.
Ah.
Right, so anything that's 100% muktzah, maximum daitai, then it's muktzah. 80%, according to Reb Shimon, is not. I'm just giving that so it'd be easier to understand what it means. But let's see a little further in the Taz. Mind Reb Shimon da muktzah. V'chein al-taltel kli shemalachta le'isser. To move a kli shemalachta le'isser, mechama l'tzel, he's also masking that he can't do it. Right, we had a kli about kli shemalachta le'isser. We had before that you're allowed to move it to a kufay mekaymai, but mechama l'tzel you're not allowed to move it. The Reb Shimon is masking to that also. They're not allowed to move it. V'lemekel Reb Shimon ela v'davar the mitzvah ben hashmoshes v'nestalek mimenu davar oisroi v'davar also nestalek b'Shabbos the matter Reb Shimon. So the only time Reb Shimon argues is a muktzah machmas miyus, and one other case is we're going to have soon migad itzkatzoi ben hashmoshes itzkatzoi l'kulu yom. That's something that you muktzah medayitcha ben hashmoshes, but you have a mind to use it later on in Shabbos. There, Reb Shimon holds it's not muktzah. Why? Because you weren't muktzah medayitcha for the whole Shabbos. You only muktzah medayitcha for the beginning of Shabbos. For example, a lichter. You have a candle lit on it, and you know it's going to go out in an hour. So if you hold migad itzkatzoi, it's muktzah for the whole Shabbos, even though you know for sure that in an hour the candle is going to go out. Reb Shimon doesn't hold that. Reb Shimon holds that if something is going to become mutter an hour later, it's not muktzah.
So what? So why?
that's the Yesharim of last week. Sorry.
No. The issue of that was something else.
Why? No, it's something that's going to become. It's the candle that goes out on Shabbos.
Yeah, but last week it wasn't in Reb Shimon even. The Yesharim was lav dafka Reb Shimon, was everybody.
Right.
Yeah,
But basically, that's right.
Correct. Pashtas. We'll see when we get to Seif Gimel, if we get to it today. We'll see exactly what the cases are. Maybe this katzoi ben hashmoshes and katzoi l'kul
So
yom.
he doesn't hold it the din. So does he require that it goes into that is a migud katzoi? The only thing he says is that you don't. If your intention is that you take it off on Shabbos.
Right.
But no, he knows at that moment.
Right, but if your intention is to leave it there the whole Shabbos,
Then he does hold.
then he is maskim.
That's
Maskim.
He also
Even
would have,
though-
he would
correct.
have the same ben hashmoshes.
Correct. Even though later on, the middle of Shabbos is taken off. So something happened, it's taken off. Your das was in the beginning of Shabbos, it should be there the whole Shabbos. Then in the middle of Shabbos, it became ois muktzah. He's in maskim to that. We'll see later.
So the case would be the light goes out, the fire goes out.
No, but the fire goes out, but you thought it was going to be a whole Shabbos.
No, the candles are only going to last for an
No.
hour or two.
Right, so the Reb Shimon doesn't hold the muktzah.
Doesn't hold.
Right, but if you have a candle that's supposed to last for 24 hours, like you had the outside light.
Would that be with just like stam das without thinking about it? But what if we said clearly, but fairish out loud, that I'm not going to touch this lighter all Shabbos long. I'm putting it here, it's got to stay here all Shabbos long. And
Well,
then the candles go out. Rabbi Shimon would say...
No, but you
it's
know the
mostly-
candles are going out.
You know, but at the lighter, I'm leaving there anyways, even after the candles go out. I'm not going to use it for all the whole Shabbos. I'm not going to move it from where it is.
So that's the Chubei. That's
so
the
even Rabbi
Chubei.
Shimon would agree in that case.
There's
it
the
is-
Chubei, but it has to be a reason why.
Uh-huh.
Just the fact that the candle that you're saying you're not going to
Okay,
use
there might
it.
be a reason why. Maybe.
Yeah, that's a reason why.
There might be a reason why.
Gregus with Tzemukim
Yeah.
is a case that it comes ben hashmoshes. It's not roy to eat, and it's not going to be roy to eat till after Shabbos.
Uh-huh.
So it's dacha b'yadayim. You put it aside, and it's not roy to eat now.
Uh-huh.
So there, dacha b'yadayim was for the whole Shabbos, and you have a reason why you're leaving it there the whole Shabbos, because it's not going to be ready till Motzei Shabbos.
Uh-huh.
Mashenke, it's not that the candle's going to go out. You You have to have a reason why you don't want to touch the light below Shabbos.
The first sort of cases, is that either or and? Meaning you
And.
do both docher
Both.
and
Let's see, that's
also
what it is.
right off.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second.
Right.
And
Yeah,
also, what about muktzah machmas b'yisrael case?
he's masking also.
He's masking, because
Yes.
that's like a docha b'yadayim.
That's like a Dachabi Daim, correct. Okay, if you look at the Mishnah Berurah over here, it's really the next Seif. Let's see in the next Seif Cotton Bays. Ancient Michael, we'll get to the Mechav in a second. So he says, the B'davar she'ein le'oichel, after Rav Shimon, yesh muktzah l'fa'amim. Even according to Rav Shimon, there's muktzah. For example, kagar muktzah machmas chsar and kiss. V'chamash shekosov v'simen shen ches, if aleph. V'chein b'davar she'ein le'kli, kagar mois v'tzroyes v'avon v'chayetze b'hem. In these things, he's masking that there is muktzah. That's also a very important Mishnah Berurah. He speaks to him first. Chasar and kiss, muktzah machmas gufay. Reb Shimon is masking there is muktzah.
Which Mishnah Berurah that?
Seif Cotton Beis. Ein shum oichel.
Okay.
We'll see soon. By food, it's different. By food, Reb Shimon is more mekel. There'll be another nafkamir between Reb Shimon and Rabbi Yehuda. By food. But he says, "B'davar she'ein oichel after Reb Shimon yetz muktzah l'fa'amim, ker muktzah machmas chasar and kiss, v'chein b'davar she'ein kli, ker moaz v'tzreis avon v'chayetze b'hem." So Reb Shimon is masking to muktzah. Chasar and kiss, muktzah machmas gufay. Taz says muktzah machmas iser. Right? Reb Shimon is masking to all those muktzahs. So far, the only muktzah we have that Reb Shimon argues on is muktzah machmas mius
Yes.
and migdus katzoi, which we'll speak about more in Seif Gimel. The person we give an example of this of Seif Aleph is things that are not somos. They give example. What's called disposable kalim.
Disposable.
Kalim, the paper goods, chat pamim. That once someone uses it, it is mos, but it's not graf sharei. It's not. You're not so disgusted by it like a graf sharei. Someone's dirty fork that they use by a kiddush, you're not so disgusted by it. So we had spoken out when we learned graf sharei that something you're disgusted by is muktzah. Therefore, there's a question: if you make by a kiddush, how you take things off the table. It depends how disgusted it is. Now, a fork that somebody used, and it's not very dirty. I don't know if it's called. It's a graf sharei. You can't make everything into a graf sharei. So this will be an afkamina according to Reb Shimon, who's matir davar mos. It's not muktzah, so those things will not be muktzah. So you have to know exactly where the line is. How you draw the line. What's the graf sharei and what's davar mos? And what's davar mos?
It's a subjective thing.
It's a subjective thing. You have to know exactly where to draw the line.
But if it's subjective, you don't know where to draw the line.
Remember,
My line is bigger than your line.
Yeah, so it could be.
we were actually talking about shells, so like people were, shelling, pistachio nuts or whatever that was on the table. We were talking back then. I remember whether that
No,
was,
shells are worse.
we were saying whether it was still where we would.
Graf sharei.
Yeah. Point at that point.
But there it's worse because it's muktzah machmas gufay,
Right,
no use.
you're right.
A plate has a use, unless you're going to say that a plate, there's also the problem that once a plate is used, and if no one's going to use it anymore because it's so disgusted by it, then it becomes muktzah machmas gufay. Anything that has no use anymore is muktzah machmas gufay. You don't have to come out to graf sharei, but like a regular dish that you're not going to throw out, you can't say it's a muktzah machmas gufay. The only question is, it's mos, you're disgusted by it. So if it has like graf sharei, so then it's muktzah. If it has a din, it's just mos, then it's not muktzah. Then you can move it.
That's only by the
Well,
It's by dishes.
Right.
By paper goods, if no one's going to use it again, let's say you would wash it out and reuse it, then it's still called a kli. But if you'll never reuse it again, so then it's like shells. It becomes a muktzah machmas gufay. So I'm not sure how to pass on that. I mean, I could be today, every disposable is a muktzah machmas gufa. No one ever reuse it. Is that true? You never reuse a disposable thing, or
you get something in between, like salad bowls, which
yeah, salad bowls you reuse them.
some people would.
Yeah, salad bowls you reuse them. The hard plastics, yeah, those are muktzah machmas gufa. Those are definite.
Between reusing your own plastic cup in your house
and somebody else's.
Kiddush,
Right, so that's what he said. By kiddush, it's worse.
Yeah.
In your house, it's not muktzah.
Right.
But by kiddush, maybe it's muktzah. I've seen people washing our cups using them by kiddush. There's no other cup. You wash a becher, you wash out.
Yeah.
Right? You rinse it out, you reuse it. And it's hard to pass on these shabbos because as the years go on, disposable becomes more disposable. Fine, so that'll be enough community.
But the way you clear it, I mean, if you take the whole tablecloth,
Right,
that's not a problem.
then that's not a problem anyway.
Yeah.
So that's how you do it.
Now we spoke to them. The tablecloth itself may be a problem. The tablecloth itself may be muktzah machmas gufa because they're not going to reuse it.
Right.
We spoke to them. The tablecloth itself could be a muktzah machmas gufa because they're not reusing it; they're throwing it in the garbage.
No, but you're using it as a garbage thing, so you're
Okay,
using
if it's meant for that, they're saying it's meant for
yeah,
that.
but you're doing it because you're collecting all the garbage.
They're meant to wrap them up and to throw it out.
Right.
The tablecloth is not finished being used till you wrap it up.
Right,
Okay,
there you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Maybe you had to.
Okay,
Everything is permissible.
Okay, seat face.
Okay.
Ain't shum oichel tolush the royal achila muktzah l'Shabbos. Any food that's royal
If it's
achila,
not ripe,
we'll see in a second if it's not ripe. Ain't shum oichel tolush. Any food that's taken off the tree, it's not muktzah. The royal achila is possible to eat. It's not muktzah l'Shabbos. Why? The tmarim v'shkedim v'shapeiris ha'omdim l'schayra mutar lechem hem b'Shabbos. If you have dates and you have nuts, any type of peiris that are meant to sell them, mutar lechem hem b'Shabbos, you're allowed to eat from them on Shabbos. Now, we'll just see if we can go through the Mishnah Berurah together with it, because there's no really Magen Avram here. So if you look in the Mishnah Berurah, here, Seif Cotton Daled. He says why l'schayra. He says the afagav the oimdim l'schayra, even though it's meant to be sold, daitay aleim lechel mehem k'shayirtzer. Your das is to eat from it whenever you want. Now, the truth is, you don't have to come out to that, because this Seif is going to tell us that the only time food is muktzah is when it's dachke b'yadayim, and it's not royal achila. It's not possible to eat it the way it is.
Both.
And that's like Reb Shimon. And you have to have both. This is like Reb Shimon. It's another kula of Reb Shimon. Dachke b'yadayim means you pushed it aside. You did an action to show that you don't want to use it. And another thing you have to have is that it's not royal achila, it's not edible. So here, this peiris that we're talking
is
about,
that
Oimdim l'schayra,
not ripe,
okay,
or what stage?
So we'll get to not ripe in a second. This Oimdim l'schayra
Is
is something that's edible.
Yeah.
What do you have? Maybe it's dachke b'yadayim, you pushed it away because you want to sell it. So you don't have both chesronis. So the question is why the Mishnah Berurah has to come over here and say that daitei alehem, even though it's set aside the schara. The schara you don't have to come onto that.
Because we learned before that it could be that it's muktzah machmas chesar and kiss.
That's not by oichel. Muktzah machmas chesar and kiss is something you're selling. That's what Shimon's kuba here also by oichel. There's no oichel according to Reb Shimon that's muktzah, because oichel you always have das on. Oichel is something that's more used than everything else. Because even though we have chesar and kiss, buy anything else you're selling, right? You want to sell, you have a store, you're selling paper goods. You decide at Shabbos you want to go ahead and take some paper goods from there. There could be some muktzah machmas chesar and kiss. You don't want it to be touched because you want to sell it. So there, maybe even if Shimon will be asking what's muktzah.
So I think because we spoke about, let's say you sell wine, bottles of wine, even that would be considered oichel.
Yeah. Sure. Wine should be considered.
Like fine wines, I mean.
Yeah. Sure, it should be considered.
He brings down in the Dirshu the example of the Sroigim.
The Sroigim is worse. A sregim is something.
Only thing was hard with Neichag Sukkos Daser Gomer Shlomo Zerm Now Shedina Kimuk to Machmas Besar Kis.
Yeah, but there's different because it's not roy lachila. It's not edible.
Right, that's why.
We'll see soon. It's both. It has to be not edible, and that it's amilus chayrim. Once it's edible, it falls. The Issa falls off. Dachi b'dayim falls off. You have to have dachi b'dayim, and it's not roy lachila.
That's for what? For
If
all.
it's edible at a later
But
stage.
Etrog,
Oh, so the question is, if you have something that's not ripe, you have stuff that's not ripe. Avocados, we speak about bananas, all this type of things that Shabbos become Shabbos, and they're not ripe. So it's dachi b'yadayim. You push it aside. You're not going to use it because it's not ripe.
Yeah.
So the question is, it becomes ripe on Shabbos if now you're allowed to eat it or not.
No, but it isn't a complete docha by a dime, because you already docha by a dime but you know it's not right. It'll be ripe.
Doesn't make a difference.
No, but you don't
So we'll see soon. It doesn't make a difference because
It becomes
anything that's dachi b'yadayim.
by itself.
So see,
But
anything-
when it's on,
So let's see. We'll see that the problem of this is migdis katzoi ben hashmoshes. Ben hashmoshes, it was dachi b'yadayim, pushed it away, and it's not royal achila.
Right.
So what happened to the migdis katzoi ben hashmoshes? And we'll see in Seif Gimel that if it's muktzah ben hashmoshes, it's muktzah the whole Shabbos. So when we get to Seif Gimel, we'll see that certain things, even though dachi b'yadayim, even though you're pushing it away ben hashmoshes, and it's not royal achila,
At that point.
still, if it's going to happen by itself on Shabbos, there, maybe it's mutter, or maybe it's worse.
So what's the difference between that and tzimukim?
No, tzemukim is not going to be ready on Shabbos.
Oh no, because I'm
Yeah,
assuming that
tzemukim-
case is that he's drying it, but they're not dry yet. So
no,
they're not-
tzemukim we'll see soon.
maybe
Tzemukim is not going to be ready on Shabbos. We'll get to tzemukim soon, it's not going to be ready on Shabbos. Here we have that something that's dachi b'yadayim. I don't want to get into migdis katzoi now because it's Seif Gimel, and we'll have a different klolim. Here, is this called dachi b'yadayim and not royal achila? This Seif says that it has to be dachi b'yadayim and not royal achila. So, ben hashmoshes.
But the Mishnah Berurah would be teaching us that even if it's royal achila, then any dechia b'yadayim isn't really a dechia b'yadayim.
That's the reason why, I mean.
Yeah, that's
The reason why it's not called dachi b'yadayim. Okay, here, maybe. Interesting point. Maybe that's pshat. But they say by the unripe fruits that l'chayr is dachi b'yadayim and it's not royal achila. And we'll see later on. Maybe this katzari is a problem by them. So the person would say that a lot of these fruits that they are royal achila ben hashmoshes. Maybe not 100% royal achila, ideal, but b'shas adchak, it's called royal achila. Most of the fruits that we have in our house,
A green banana.
a green banana is royal achila. Possible to eat.
Some meat is
You can cook it.
greenish, you know.
Yeah, Shabbos you can't cook it.
No.
Most
But
of the fruits you buy now
most of the fruits-
are not edible. I mean, when you buy them, they have to ripen in your house.
Right. So you buy avocados or mango. This type, right? Yeah.
But you say your
Since it's possible to eat it, the person says it's not called any royal achila. We're not going to call it any royal achila because it's possible to eat it. All right, and we'll see soon. We'll get to the migdis katzoi ben hashmoshes and say something that's going to happen by itself. There's no migdis katzoi ben hashmoshes. It's not so simple. And we'll see when we get to Seif Gimel. A lot of things that even though it happens by itself, that it's going to become ready by itself on Shabbos, there's still a migdis katzoi. Of migdis katzoi, meaning that since ben hashmoshes, it's muktzah, it stays muktzah the whole Shabbos.
Right.
Like a partial example is the candle. A candle that's lit, we say migdis katzoi ben hashmoshes, it's muktzah the whole Shabbos. You know it's going to go out by itself. So why is that different than something that an unripe fruit that's to become ready by itself on Shabbos? So we'll get to it at Seif Gimel. It could be unripe fruit.
Because at
fruit
that
if
stage
it's not right.
it's no more a kli.
What's that?
Burned out candle. What
No, but the thing that's holding it is
it's
the lighter. So we'll see in Seif Gimel that it's very possible that a fruit that's not edible b'chlal ben hashmoshes, it's impossible to eat it. Even though you know that during Shabbos it will be possible to eat it, it could be it's muktzah the whole Shabbos. We'll get to Seif Gimel with the chalukah migdis katzoi. But the person speak out over here that most of the unripe fruits that we have in our house are edible somewhat. Somewhat. If you have some that's mamish not edible, it could be it's a problem.
That would be, for example, an avocado that could be really
an avocado that's hard.
And let's say it becomes ripe before.
Right.
But because it was so hard and completely inedible.
So the question is, if it's completely inedible ben hashmashos, it could be it's muktzah al shabbos.
Right.
But most of the avocados that we have are somewhat edible. Are somewhat edible. So that's one case. Then it says afilu chitim, even wheat, shezoram bekarka, you planted it, but dayan lo yishvishu, it didn't take root yet. Since they're roy la'achila, even though it's tachya b'yadayim, you put it into the ground, you're showing you don't want to use it. Yeah. It's tachya b'yadayim, still, since it's roy la'achila, it's not muktzah. Ubayim shetachat hatanagolus, the eggs under the chickens, mutal taltalan. You're allowed to be metaltal them on Shabbos, even though it's tachya b'yadayim. All these are because since it's royal achila, it's reichel, it's a raw egg. You get a raw egg on Shabbos.
These are eggs that were laid on Shabbos.
But this thing,
later before Shabbos.
It's still raw. It's
raw.
It's still raw.
It's still raw, but it's royal achila. Raw eggs are royal achila.
Yeah. Chazanas.
Chazanas, yeah. So these are dates that are picked before they're ripe. The kites nice and besalim, they misbashlim aleim, mutar lechol mehem. You're allowed to eat from them before they get ripe. So all these are examples of things that are dachya b'yadayim. You put them aside, but they're royal achila. They're royal achila.
The misbashlim meilov.
Yeah, if you look at in Sif Cotton Hay, in the Mr. Brewer speaks down before over here, the alpha gaf, the dachilu b'yadayim, even though all these things are doiche b'yadayim, from using them, kivin the chazyan alokton, you could gather them, velechol, they have a muktzah, they're not muktzah. The lekshayu muktzah, in order for it to be muktzah, be'inan shnei pratim, you have to have two different things. Dachilu b'yadayim, and they're not roy to eat. Now skip the Sif Cotton test. It's one of the dates. Kaidem b'shulam. The afiluk shechnisu b'salim. Why is it called? Why is it not muktzah? So he says the afiluk shechnisu b'salim adayin ikka the achaluhu hachi. Some people eat it that way. Therefore, it's not called any royal achila. So the same thing would be with our fruits that are not, they're still, you can still eat them. Some people eat it that way. Therefore, it's not called any royal achila. But if you have a fruit with a gerges with tzmukim, we'll get to in a second. If you have some that no one could eat, then an chanami it's muktzah. So the Mechaber says, "Vayit avol gerges with tzmukim, shemanichim oisam b'muktzah." Muktzah is a place behind the house. It's interesting. It's called the muktzah. A muktzah is a place behind the house where they would keep their fruits.
Even the wood is called
yeah, like a shed. The yavsham, to dry them out, asura b'shabbos b'sham muktzah. You put it in the muktzah that it's also b'shabbos because of muktzah. Shehem asrichim koidim says yavshu. Before they dry out, they become spoiled, they become smelly, and you can't eat them. The kivin sheyadeh she'esrichu esiach daita mehem, the kivin de'ekatarti, dachilu b'yadayim, v'loi chazi, have a muktzah. Once you have both, dacha b'yadayim and it's like chazi, now already becomes muktzah. So we continue the mishmur that we started before. He says, "Masha'en can be groigas with tzmukim, k'shenicham liyavsham v'nishtahu ma'at." They stay there a little bit. Shuv einan ru'uyim la'achila asheis yavshu, u'bevadai hesiach daita mehem. And then, for sure, you mesiach daita from it. Yeah, so that's only by Gregus with Tzebukim, where Ben Hashmoshes, it's not right to eat Bechlal. So here we have, this Seif is telling us a klal, that by food, we don't say it's muktzah so fast. Even though it's tachi b'yadayim, it's not muktzah. As long as it's roy to eat it, it stays not muktzah. Masha'en ken gregus with smukim, where it's not roy to eat b'chlal, then it's muktzah.
So how would this apply to frozen foods?
Frozen fruit is edible.
Make a smoothie.
Frozen fruit is edible. You have to wait for it to thaw out a little bit. It's edible.
Even without.
Well, anything, which the truth is, this is more negated, Seif Gimel. Frozen fruit, let's say the way it is now, you're saying it's not edible at all. Because you can't eat it, you can't bite into it. But since you could defrost it, so it's not called Migad Diskatzoi. And that's something that you yourself could do. Everyone agrees that something that you yourself could change it is not called Migad Diskatzoi. That you yourself could do it. You could take it, you could defrost it, it's not Migad Diskatzoi. Even though Ben Hashmashas, it's in the freezer, and you can't eat it the way it is, since you can take it out of the freezer, it's not called Muktzah Ben Hashmashas, Migad Diskatzoi.
So raw meat, it's frozen. If you say you can't eat raw meat, then you could say it's not muktzah.
You can.
Raw meat,
don't eat.
Raw meat you can eat.
Yeah.
But it could be today it's different. It could be today that they say raw meat today, nobody eats raw meat, so therefore the raw meat itself is muktzah. Not that it's frozen.
Sushi.
No, that's fish.
Not that it's frozen. Raw meat.
But you can also eat
tartare.
things in raisins before they're dried, right?
No, once in that state, the status laid is now.
In between, that's the problem.
Yes, they would have. That's the last of over here. It says that the first step they become unedible.
Right.
And that step, that's an important part of it. Gregus with smukin, what happens is, after you put it on the muktzah, you put it on the roof, whatever it is, there's a time that its status is that it's not edible at all. At that time, it's not edible at all. So Ben Hashmashas, it wasn't edible at all. It was dachi b'yadayim, therefore it's muktzah. Anything that's not edible at all is muktzah. And the reason over there is because even though maybe later on it may become edible after it dries out, but that's not in your hands. That's min hashamayim. It has to happen by itself. That has to happen by itself.
So why? I'm just not following the logic. Sounds like then frozen.
So frozen fruit we say because you could do something about it yourself.
On Shabbos?
Yeah, you take it out of the freezer, defrost it.
No, it's sitting in front of you now. Like you've already taken out of it. It's now
So
you have frozen fruit of something that's frozen.
It's not muktzah.
Why
So
not?
don't
Because even though now it's not royal achila, but there's no din of migad diskatzoi. There's two separate sifin over here, and we can't mix them up. One sif is sif beis. If something's not royal achila and it's dacha b'yadayim, it's muktzah. It's muktzah. And the truth is, frozen fruit, dacha b'yadayim, it's not royal achila. It's muktzah.
But you know, if you're already taking it out of the freezer, it means that you're not.
But there's no din of migad diskatzoi ben hashmashas. Something you could change it and make it royal achila. That it's not called migad diskatzoi, it's not muktzah. You're allowed to use it. You're allowed to take it out of the freezer and you're allowed to throw it out and eat it. The other things, for example, gregus with smukim, where it's not up to you to do it, you have to put it on the roof, and now when it becomes in its status that's any royal achila, at that time there's nothing you could do to change it. You have to wait for it to dry out.
Why is that different?
Because there's a hefsek, no?
Because the freezer,
there's a hefsek between the Isser and the time that there was an Isser and it becomes heter, there's an
but you could do it. You could do it yourself. The gregus with Tzemukim, this is more Seif Gimel will start speaking on now a little bit. Gregus with Tzemukim is something that you cannot do it yourself. You need the sun to dry it out. You need the sun to dry it out. So what do you say? It's a sunny day. I listen to the forecast, and it's going to be sunny a whole day tomorrow. So I know that by tomorrow, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it should be done. That's not called something that happens by itself. It's not called that you could do it. You need the sun to dry it out. Anything that you could thaw out by yourself, that you don't need anything else, then it's not called dacha b'yadayim. It's not called migad diskatzoi.
But the thawing has to start in Shabbos?
No.
You can take something out of the freezer on Shabbos.
On Shabbos.
But isn't it muktzah before you take it out?
No, because you could use it. You could throw it out. You could throw it out. Anything that you could change by yourself, is not muktzah.
Why is it not called that anything in the freezer is not doche b'yadayim?
Because you could change it. You could take it out. You could do it yourself. You could throw it out, and you could eat it.
Right. So why do you even have to come to the fact of the case like Grover and Simukim? What I'm saying is maybe right now it's not Rola Chila, but we're not doche b'yadayim because I can take it at any time and
freeze it
out. Yeah.
So
therefore there's no doche b'yadayim bits.
Right. There's no doche b'yadayim on
frozen fruit.
Correct.
But how do you know it will thaw out on Shabbos? What if you're taking it out?
It doesn't make a difference. It doesn't make a difference. Still, since you can throw it out, it's in your hands to throw it out. It's called. It's okay. Anything you could do yourself is not muktzah. All these things like fruit that's not ripe. Fruit that's not ripe, you can't do it yourself. You can't make it ripe yourself. You have to let it sit and become ripe. There, it's not in your hands to go ahead and make it ripe. So there, it could be it's muktzah. If it's doche b'yadayim, it's not royal achila, it could be it's muktzah.
So what are the muktzah things in your freezer? Like, would it be frozen fish? Would that be muktzah?
Yeah, because you can't eat it.
Okay.
Even after it thaws out, you can't eat it, so you cook it.
Your rice there, you keep their flour there.
Yeah.
Frozen rice you can thaw out.
But you can't eat it.
No, cool, you say raw rice.
Oh, frozen rice.
Raw rice, yeah. Anything that's raw is muktzah. Anything that's raw is muktzah. Anything that's not raw, it's cooked, and it's in the freezer, it's frozen, it's not muktzah at all.
But raw fish you could eat.
Okay, that's a question. If you eat raw fish, that's not muktzah.
Sushi.
Okay.
Depends what fish it is, not always.
Raw meat you could eat.
Steak tartare.
The person say no one eats raw meat.
Yeah, steak tartare. It's like in every restaurant, every good restaurant.
It's totally raw?
Steak tartare is not raw meat. Steak tartare is raw meat, spices, and eggs. So you got to prepare it. You can't just take raw meat out and you call that steak tartare.
Okay, well, there's a recipe to make it. Isn't that still raw?
It depends. It depends if you can do something with it on Shabbos. If you can make this whatever it is on Shabbos, then that's chanami. But if you can't make it on Shabbos, then it's muktzah.
They don't serve it at the kiddush.
And it depends.
Actually, I think it was at the fancy kiddush. I think it was the last one.
It depends. If you have ground beef, right? That's muktzah. You can't make anything out of it.
But on Shabbos, if you took the raw meat and eggs and spices and mixed it all together, is that muktzah?
If you could do it, no. You could do it on Shabbos. It won't be muktzah. So let's not get confused here. This Seif is talking about things that you yourself cannot change it on Shabbos. Food in the freezer, you could change. You can make it. You can make it by yourself. You can make it royal achila. That's not included in Seif base. Seif base is the only food that's not ripe, and that you yourself cannot change it.
He said it doesn't meet the criteria of the migudis katzoi.
Yeah, I don't know if migudis katzoi even. It's mutter b'chlal because it's not muktzah. Migudis katzoi is muktzah ben hashmoshes. I don't even know if stuff in the freezer has a din of muktzah ben hashmoshes. I don't know if food in the freezer you have to come out to that even.
So I'm not saying he's giving a different answer. He's saying because it's not, in other words, you didn't meet the two criteria. It's not the chakino. You didn't push it away. Right. But the Rebbe was learning differently.
Why did you push it away?
You said because
my thing is because you need both at time. One is there's no relaxation. The second is in fact, it's because it's in the freezer already. There's no.
It's not doche b'yadayim, maybe. It's not doche b'yadayim.
So that I understand that part.
Okay. So it could be stuff in the freezer, frozen fruit in the freezer. It could be not doche b'yadayim and it's not muktzah b'chlal. Anything it's in the freezer that you take out and you throw it out for a few minutes and you eat it, it's not muktzah b'chlal. Not doche b'yadayim.
Sometimes you have like a frozen buns and you need a lechem mishnah or something like that.
Right.
So you could take it out and let it thaw, and then you have
right. You do it all the time.
So it wasn't doche b'yadayim.
It's not doche b'yadayim. It could be snai with doche b'yadayim, yeah.
But you're confusing it.
It could be snai with doche b'yadayim, correct.
For lechem mishnah.
As is frozen?
Because
I thought you couldn't have frozen challah as it is.
It has to be royal achila.
right, but
By lechem mishnah.
Shiloh, whether you can use a frozen bilka for, let's say, for lechem mishnah.
Not if you can't eat it the way it is.
So
You have to have thawed it. So it's either.
It has to be able to be eaten, shas lechem mishnah.
it is okay.
Yeah, and most of them are edible. I do it all the time. If I get something, take out a frozen roll or something from the freezer, I would dafka cut that one, the frozen one, to show that you can eat it. And we cut it open and everyone says it's frozen, but they eat it. to show they can eat it.
It's not pleasant for you.
Yeah. So let's say now stuff that's in the freezer is not even docha b'yadayim and it's totally muktzah. Here we're talking about stuff that is docha b'yadayim, but it's royal achila and therefore it's not muktzah. Gregus with tzemukim, where it's docha b'yadayim and it is not royal achila.
So all these things that you have in a cupboard, like lentils and raw rice before it's cooked, that stuff is all muktzah on Shabbos.
All muktzah on Shabbos. We spoke at once, which is the same thing as negated to the Seif. We spoke about the shaila with the sushi that was made on Shabbos. Right, they put it up before Shabbos, and then it's on a timer. It's in the water with the rice. And then on a timer, and the timer goes on Shabbos afternoon. Which Shabbos should you have fresh sushi rice.
And then you want to make sushi.
That's what I tell.
So that l'chayra is docha b'yadayim. That's docha b'yadayim. And it's in royal achila. That's mamash docha b'yadayim. Ben hashmoshes who don't want it to cook.
Yeah.
They say the person speak out that something's on the pot. Spoken out that I think, but something's on the pot, on the fire on Shabbos. Erev Shabbos, it's raw still, but it's going to cook. That's mutter. Why is it mutter? It's in royal achila now. Because there's not docha b'yadayim. There you want it now. You put it there to get cooked for now. Mashenkin rice that's raw. Ben hashmoshes was docha b'yadayim. You don't want it to cook now because you want it to be fresh tomorrow. So you want it raw now. It's docha b'yadayim, and there you cannot make it roy later on at Shabbos. The time has to go on and cook it. That's a perfect case of docha b'yadayim, and it's any roy l'achila, and it's a migdis katzoi ben hashmoshes. It's muktzah the whole Shabbos because you can't change it. You cannot change it. I said the same thing with the coffee machines, right? To make brewed coffee on Shabbos. So what do? You can set it up before Shabbos, put the coffee in the machine, and then put it on a timer. Shabbos morning, the hot water will come in, and it will make you fresh coffee.
Yeah, but that coffee is already cooked normally.
Yeah, but that coffee itself, you can't take it and mix it into your hot water. It won't taste good. You need to have it through boiling hot water and filter through. Then it would cook it and would come out. Otherwise, you can't drink. You can't use that coffee. So that coffee, the l'chara ben hashmoshes, is migdis katzoi because it's docha b'yadayim and it's in royal achila. You can't eat it. It's docha b'yadayim. You don't want it now to cook because you want it tomorrow morning to be fresh. So l'chara, it's a migdis katzoi ben hashmoshes that you yourself cannot do anything about on Shabbos. You cannot change it on Shabbos.
Can you salt thin fillet of fish on Shabbos?
Yes, why not?
But you're cooking. Salt is basically
No,
cooking.
that type of salt is not going to work. So that would be a perfect example of
That's that's what we spoke of. Then you guys were Shlomo Miller?
Yeah.
And he said there was a Ran that said that's migudis katzoi.
No, the Ran says the Ran says that he's the one who speaks out this heter of that when you're cooking on Shabbos, right? Ben hashmoshes, it's muktzah. He asked the question, it's muktzah. So he says, since it's going to happen the way it is now, so therefore it's mutter. As it is now, it's going to cook. Everything is set up already. Therefore it's mutter. It's not muktzah. It's not yichal. It's not called docha b'yadayim. But it's only because right now it's already cooking, and you want it to continue cooking. But if you don't want it to cook now, so then already, ben hashmoshes, you don't want it to cook, so it's muktzah.
But if it's ben hashmoshes only.
I don't think the Ran speaks that out.
If it's partly.
I thought he used
also,
that.
it's good.
I have to go back. I thought he used
The
that
Ran,
Ran.
yeah, but the Ran's the one that says that since it's cooking already and you set it up to cook, therefore it's not muktzah.
Yes or no?
That's what he says. But it's only because it's set up to cook already.
Did he say you shouldn't make sushi on Shabbos? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, he said it's awesome.
It's awesome.
Yeah, anything that's on a timer to go on later on.
Because of that, you can't use that Ran. The Ran that says.
Right, the Ran says because it's happening now already. It's already cooking, but some it's not cooking. So these are perfect examples of this seed of docha b'yadayim, and it's in royal achila.
So any food that you put in there, that if you did it like that sushi case,
Right.
Let's say you had a meat dish of some sort with, raw vegetable, like whatever it is.
Whatever it
and
is.
You wanted to do that.
So raw vegetables not. Raw vegetables royal achila.
Okay.
Anything that's royal achila ben hashmashas, it's fine.
No, but the meat isn't then.
Right. If the meat is raw, you can't eat the meat raw. Anything that's in the cook on Shabbos.
Turn on like in the
Correct.
middle of the night on Friday night, so you have this dish ready on Shabbos morning, nice.
It's a
That
problem.
would be a problem.
Correct.
Correct.
Unless you started it.
Yeah.
Unless it started already.
Yeah,
Right.
right. Let's say you had another dish, not challah. Let's say you wanted like a hot
Like
chicken
you have a
dish,
rice slow
and it
cooker,
would be
you want to go-
overcooked if you did electric.
Right.
So you turned it on, so the time would go on at midnight or something.
Right.
Like that, and it would
The
cook
rice
only
slow
for
cooker may be okay.
6
Rice is
hours
doing very
and then
fast.
for lunch.
The klal was,
You just keep it
right, the klal is anything that you don't want it cooking ben hashmashas, but
Yeah.
dafka not.
Right.
Because then you defeat the purpose.
Yeah.
Anything you don't want cooking ben hashmashas, that's already dacha b'yadayim. That's dacha b'yadayim. Anytime you don't want it to cook ben hashmashas. Anything you want it to cook a long time, it's set to cook ben hashmashas, that's fine. Okay, let's finish the Seif over here. Yesh Oimrim, the ein achana shaykh b'shal kuti by a goy, v'afil groigers with tzimukim shebiyoday mutarim. Groigers with tzimukim by a goy is always mutar. Why? Because there is no muktzah by a goy. Says the Magen Avraham, v'yesh Oimrim, the ein achana, the ein ha'akom makatza midaita klum. A goy doesn't set anything aside, because for him, he can use everything on Shabbos. It's muchen for everybody. That's the mechaber. That's the Ramah. The Mishnah Berurah brings down a lot of places that argue on this. Look at the Mishnah Berurah Sif Kanyad Beis, the Ein Achana. He says, "Rotza Leimed Dover Shu Asa BeYisrael Mashum Litzkatzoi Ben Hashmoshes B'Lei Huzman V'Yidyoyim Be'Ein Yehudi L'Shayach Zev." The Ein Yehudi makza midai the Ein Yehudi makza midai klum. V'kimin shel muchen leish echad muchen lakoil. Now we say like this: Aval dover the oser b'bein hashmoshes mishum mechuber or mishum shemechus tzeder v'toshu Ein Yehudi aitzadu b'Shabbos avsher dover hush Ein Yehudi l'kulam oser v'chem be'isen noilad. So there are certain muktzas that are shaykh by a guy also. Some that the muktzah is because it's attached to a tree. So for us, we're not allowed to touch it now. It's attached to a tree or noilad. Those things are also even when a guy owns it. Okay, and Sif Kanyad Gimel he brings down a full of Gregoris.
Here the Mishnah Berurah is arguing on the Ramah. The Ramah would.
He's not arguing. He says the Ramah doesn't mean in those cases.
So we had the case when a guy made a challah on
Right.
Shabbos.
Right. So a guy has challah on Shabbos. That's
It's also.
that was a shaila. That's the machlokes in Siman Shin Chaf Hey. Right.
So Goy comes to you.
Pashtav Akan Atzam B'Shabbos Yesh Oisem Yesh Matir. Question: what the reason is? Is it because of muktzah or not? Right. Because there's a question of it's noiled or not. It's called noilad.
Also, he made it for himself.
Yeah,
For sure, he made it for
yeah,
himself.
he made it for himself. Makes it for you for sure. Also,
For sure, for sure.
even if he
right.
makes it for himself, with the shadow, it was a kubi that's noilad. That was no shadow over there.
So what if a goy made this sushi rice thing? It was his thing. And
That's Siman Shin Chafei.
Say that?
That's Siman Shin Chafei Sif Dalet.
Right.
The guy makes bread on Shabbos,
Right.
his own bread,
Right.
and you want to use it. It's a machlokes if it's mutter or not.
Why it's machlokas? He made for himself and he
He
made
made
it
for himself.
and he just offered
Pasha offer
himself.
Akan Atzam B'Shabbos. Yesh Oisem Yesh Matir.
Yeah.
But Shas Chak or the Tzorech Mitzvah,
You're allowed.
you're allowed to. Yesh Lis Machal Matir. But it's a whole. It has to be that the guy is doing it for himself. Don't forget. If the guy is doing it for you, there's no aterim.
Right.
It has to be a case where the guy did it for himself. Then you want to go ahead and take it from him.
It's like
Even
by
if
the
he's gonna
night,
have
but
some of
like
it.
by the
Yeah,
nair.
it's not how if he has some of it. He's doing it for you.
Yeah, but like the goy by the nair.
Yeah, but no, right. He's doing it for himself. Same thing as an Ev. The guy does it for himself. It's mutter. Okay, I want to see if Gimel Tess. Gimel is a little complicated. Sif. Are we learning next week?
Yep.
Cholamoyim?
Why not?
Thumbs around? I give you 5 reasons why not. Yeah, learn next week?
One second.
Okay.